they're layering.
Then you do another dose of ice cream, another dose.
This is a restaurant doing this?
Yes, while I'm doing this, Jim, tell us about the calories that this creates.
All right, well, a normal ice cream sundae will have about 600 calories, 24 grams of fat, but adding the bacon adds about 200 calories to it and bumps it up to 40 grams of fat, which is, you know, bacon is probably one of the worst things in terms of fat. It's, I think, more than half of it's fat and most of it's saturated. So
but who would think
this is like holy heart attack
But
fat,
it's a
man.
dessert.
I mean,
Do you eat dessert every single day?
Some people do.
Yeah, but what do you think
the idea is,
of mixing bacon with ice cream and syrup?
Well, it's the salty and sugary because bacon is very high in sodium, and some people like that taste offset of sodium with sweet.
That's actually really good.
Did you like it?
Really?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'll try it.
Yummy.
You know, and in the end, there
Can I try it?
are a lot of different types of foods out there, and
I know. It's scary. You know,
That's actually pretty good.
I thought it was good.
Do not try this at home.
It's just as good. I like it.
but some of what we're going to talk about today is you may be thinking that you're eating one thing, but there may be something else entirely different in it that could be bad for your health. And, you know, no one's sitting here saying that donuts like these are health food, but let me grab this and say, you know, this vinaigrette dressing, these tacos, they look pretty harmless, right? Well, not so much. They each contain a chemical that can be found in your car. Find out what it is and more as we uncover what's really in your food when we come back.
Wow.
Does the average American actually know what they're eating?
They don't know what's in the food.
The foods we eat are a major source of chemicals. We found an average of 200 industrial chemicals in babies at the moment of birth.
Indulge in the splendor of LI Body.
Exciting, it's empowering. You're going to keep on smiling.
Relish in fitness escapades, health and beauty delights.
No question is off limits.
To give you new ways to think about accessing your power zone.
For the exhilarating and essential.
If we're going to make big promises to you, we got to deliver. We got to give you a workout that's going to deliver results.
It's more than lifestyle.
Today we're uncovering what's really in your food, and before the break I told you each of these popular foods has an ingredient in it that you could also find under the hood of your car. Do you guys have any idea what it might be?
I heard
a few people say it's antifreeze. So that's right, the same ingredient used to de-ice a plane, keep your car running in the winter, is also found in many of these same foods that you feed your family. The ingredient's called propylene glycol, and believe it or not, it's not even the most dangerous chemical in your food. Wait until you see what health reporter Lisa Siegel uncovered in our special investigation.
Is our food safe? Millions of containers of Similac instant formula are being recalled tonight because they could be contaminated with insect parts.
There are some studies that have linked artificial dyes to hyperactivity in children.
Diet drinkers have a 61% greater risk of suffering a stroke.
What is really in our food, and could it be hurting our health? IEH is one of the country's leading authorities on food testing, from nutritional analysis to chemical breakdowns, even tracking the sources of E. coli and salmonella outbreaks.
First, you need to blend the samples. After they're ground, we have to add some solvent. The chemicals in the little chunks of food are going to be pulled out into the liquid. The chemical that concerns me is chlorothalonil.
What is that?
It's a pesticide.
Does the average American actually know what they're eating?
In my opinion, though they're getting more aware of what's in the products, they don't know what's in the food.
So we headed to Stanford University to talk to Dr. Alan Green. He's a clinical professor and a practicing physician at Lucile Packard Children's Hospital. He is also an expert on chemicals and toxins in our food.
The foods we eat are a major source of chemicals. Back in 2005, we looked at babies from across the country, and we found an average of 200 industrial chemicals in babies at the moment of birth.
How has food changed over time?
When my father was a child, all of the food was organic.
Everything we've done in modern agriculture is to grow it faster, fatter, bigger, cheaper.
If you could grow a chicken in 49 days, why would you want one you got to grow in 3 months?
We're doing an investigation on food. What do you think?
I think you need to investigate everything and everybody. When I was brought up, the kids' mouths were never blue, green, and pink from all the junk food they're eating.
How dangerous are food dyes?
The evidence is actually pretty good that it impacts behavior. They looked at thousands of kids, and they took all the artificial colors out. When the chemicals were removed, it was as if they were getting a prescription ADHD med. It was that much better. Really, you want to look on the ingredient list, and if it has an F, D, and C number on it, it's a coal-based dye that there's no good reason for.
Do you put these in your kids' lunches? These are fruit snacks.
She likes it as little treats.
Can you read some of the things in it?
Red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1.
So what if I told you that red 40, yellow 5, and blue 1 are linked to ADHD? Would that surprise you? Would that scare you at all?
They would do a little bit of both.
How concerned should I be about BPA?
BPA has been linked to things like obesity, early puberty. It's still in food containers.
We tested potato chips.
Acrylamide's a known carcinogen, and it's in potato chips.
In Oakland, California, scientists found so much acrylamide in potato chips they filed a lawsuit and won.
We found that they exceeded the World Health Organization's allowable limit for a glass of water by some 1,000 times.
Are you saying all potato chips are bad?
I'm saying all potato chips contain acrylamide. Acrylamide is dangerous to your body because it can cause cancer.
We wanted to hear what the FDA had to say about what we've learned, so we gave them a call. Their statement? The FDA does a number of things to make the food supply safe. The FDA is currently developing guidance for industry on reduction of acrylamide levels.
It makes me mad that they're generating all this science and keeping hush-hush.
With every single one of the rapidly increasing conditions, there's a link back to food, which means there's food solutions to our most pressing health problems.
It's a personal decision what you eat, but you need to know the truth.
Well, more than 2/3 of this country is overweight, and the number of Americans with diabetes, cancer, and behavioral disorders, the number continues to climb, and we are what we eat, and it can have huge consequences when it comes to our health. And you know, a lot of the substances that were mentioned in that piece, and the one I even mentioned before about the antifreeze, you know, the FDA says propylene glycol, that's the ingredient in some antifreezes. They say it's generally recognized as safe. Now, study results have been mixed. But if you're eating these, as we showed in the piece, in essence, you're getting the same chemical that can be found in these, acrylamide. So that chemical that forms in potato chips, also found in cigarette smoke, and may lead to cancer. Now, who opens up a bag of chips and thinks, this could cause cancer?
No, and we're not just talking. I mean, you don't. And potato chip makers, by January of 2012, they have to actually put a warning on the label, change the way that they make potato chips, or stop selling in California. So I'm curious to see what happens.
And in fairness, it's not as though companies are just putting this in there. This acrylamide is a byproduct of the heating process of these potato chips. But hey, now that we know it's there, let's work on getting it out of our food supply. And we haven't even touched yet upon food dyes, something we've discussed on the show before, but this is one where we have all these colorful foods out there, but a lot of the times, in fact, most of the time, it's not even the natural color.
Exactly. You know, every year, 15 million pounds of artificial food dye is put into food. And a lot of those foods are marketed towards kids, especially something like this little fruit snack, or quotes, fruit snack, has a lot of these dyes in it. And, you know, these dyes are really, they're linked to behavior problems in kids, ADHD, even autism. And, you know, I used to think food dye, that's just food dye. It's not good, it's not bad, but I've really seen a big link with diseases in my kids, my patients. Allergies, other inflammatory diseases, behavior problems. It's a big problem.
Well, and if you look at the data, very high likelihood that food coloring may cause some behavioral disorders. The FDA acknowledges red number 3 as a known carcinogen, a chemical that could cause cancer, and yet it's still approved for use. So again,
other important ones: red number 40, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6.
But Dr. Ord, you've got some more foods there that you think, well, you know, this is no big deal.
And we're moving on, and we all have to admit, from at one time or another, we found these little dessert treats to be pretty tasty,
At one
right?
time or another? Now?
Big on dessert today.
Well, these I haven't in years. Cookies, maybe I have had. But we put them to the test, and these quote-unquote cream-filled desserts don't have any cream in them at all. Do you know what that cream is?
Creamy filling.
This is going to turn you off.
Oh.
Lard. Ooh is right. And beef fat.
Oh.
This is what's processed, that white beef fat. These two, sorry to put them in front of you, Lisa.
That's okay.
But this is what they're using instead of cream, and that'll make you think twice before you have these kind of desserts again.
I have a lot of parents ask me, about all the BPA, the dyes, and the other additives and preservatives. And, they're actually, what do I need to avoid? And, it seems like each one of these things has probably a small effect, but when you add it all together, it has one big major effect. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of illnesses are on the rise. Autism, behavior problems, allergies, asthma. And, you can minimize your exposure by just eating more food that you grow or that you catch instead of the ones that are manufactured.
And Dr. Orden, why do you have benzoyl peroxide?
Well, you've heard me talk about using it for pimples, right? It's a known benzoyl peroxide. We use it. I recommend it for acne treatment. Well, do you want it in your white bread? They do put benzoyl peroxide in white bread to make it more white.
So the point is, lots of things in our foods, but the last one, and this may shock you, but what if I said that there's considered a safe amount of insect parts in your foods as well as quote-unquote rodent parts? 1 cup of pasta is allowed to contain more than 200 insect parts. Some people estimate we eat 1 pound a year of insects.
It adds a little flavor.
I have to tell you, this to me is shocking, but this doesn't scare me.
Lisa, when you grow food, you're going to get bugs on food, especially if you're trying to avoid pesticides and things like that. So,
and that's why I actually think I would rather have some insect parts in my food. What really scares me is insecticides and pesticides. You hit on this before. Pregnant women who are exposed to these things. In emergency medicine, when I went through my training, one of the first things I learned is how toxic pesticides and insecticides can be if you're exposed. And when people come in after exposure to these things, these are truly toxic. And over time, if you're overly exposed to these, who knows what it can be doing? Because they're the dirty dozen, berries, for instance, potatoes.
The thin skins,
They tend to have more of these residual pesticides on them. We'll have a list on our website, thedoctorstv.com. Those are the ones I always buy organic. There are others that, conventional versus organic may not be as big of a deal. Well, there's avocados. That's not as important. But here's the last bit of takeaway that I think everyone can use the next time they go to the store. Number 1, the more natural the ingredient that you're buying, or whatever the food may be, the less likely it is to have either cancer-causing substances, insecticides, all these other things, food coloring. So remember these tricks. Look at the ingredients. The first 5 ingredients, obviously, those are the main ingredients in the product you're buying. If you see "ose" at the end of a word, that's usually code for a sugar or a sweetener.
Like sucrose, mannitose, things like that.
Fructose. Monosodium glutamate, that's MSG. MSG, just say no. And enriched, you know what that means? That means the product lost nutrients in processing. They took out all the good stuff, then they enriched it by putting some back in. But enriched does not mean healthy.
And you have to go back to, the FDA and food manufacturers, it's not all bad. People are working to make things better. And we don't have to be scared every time we go to the grocery store. We just have to be smart.
Well, great investigation.
Thank you.
That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
Coming up, could your favorite all-you-can-eat buffet be sabotaging more than just your waistline? Find out which foods were growing these and how you can dodge 3 of the most dangerous culprits.
We found bacteria that could cause food poisoning, pneumonia, sinus infections, even some viral infections.
You could be putting your family at risk and not even know it, because food begins to grow bacteria if it's left out. So who here likes all-you-can-eat buffets? Clap your hands. Well, listen up, because you could be putting your family at risk and not even know it, because food begins to grow bacteria if it's left out for anything longer than 2 hours. So we actually decided to put some of your favorite foods to the test. Things like brie, fruit, salads, chicken, even sushi. Now, none of the food was touched after it was plated. We just let it sit and we swabbed it after a few hours for bacteria. And here's what we found, and we're going to start, Dr. Lisa, with salad.
With the salad, well, you know, they did find some bacteria, but actually most of it was fairly harmless. So the salad's fine as long as you put your dressing on the side.
So salad good, but maybe not such good news for sushi lovers, Jim.
Not at all.
Oh,
This
no.
sushi.
Oh, don't tell me this.
Sorry, you guys.
Do not tell me this.
After just a couple of hours, this stuff was teeming with bacteria. We found bacteria that could cause food poisoning, pneumonia, sinus infections, even some viral infections if you have a compromised immune system. And then, get this, we found bacteria that you would find in sewage.
Not good.
Yeah, so you got to make sure this stuff is kept cool and cold and refrigerated, and eat it while it's still fresh.
Yeah.
All right. And while chicken does a little bit better, you do get some growth, though, of bacteria in these cooked chickens that you see in the grocery store. Better choice. Pick the ones that have been wrapped. Pick ones that come out fresh, that have just been cooked, not the ones that have been sitting out for several hours.
And the last one, let me hit upon really quickly, Lisa, are the dips. So this is guacamole. And the guac didn't do so good. This grew out something called Enterobacter. It's a type of bacteria related to E. coli. And it can cause infections in folks. And when it comes down to how do you protect yourself, so avoid, if you can, if it's been sitting out for a while, things that spoil quickly, meats, fishes, dairy products, those tend to spoil more quickly. The dips, one little double dip can transfer 10,000 bacteria.
No
so
double
that's
dipping.
all it takes. You're safer with a green salad instead of potato salad. You're going to be safer with a vegetarian roll rather than, say, a spicy tuna roll. So, Lisa, when it comes down to it, you've taught us all that there's more to the food than what we maybe have first meet the eye.
Yeah. You have to look at the labels, and this is how it changed me. You know, we're always told, think about what you eat, but it's always in context of diet, you know, losing weight or you know, counting calories, but this is a whole different level. This is think about what you eat in terms of toxins, in terms of pesticides, in terms of what we were talking about with potato chips and acrylamide. This is for our health and for the health of our children, you know, future generations. You have to be smart.
Lisa, this is such a great investigation. Thank you for traveling to 4 different cities and bringing us such a comprehensive report. We really appreciate it. So we've shown you how food can harm you, but coming up, it's time to show you how food can help you. And a celebrity chef is going to show us how combining different foods together can help keep you out of the doctor's office.
This little appetizer is actually a very powerful food combination, but the secret ingredient is...
So this is your plate. You're going to decorate that, and I'm going to decorate mine. And we're going to start with some creme fraiche. Okay. And on top of that, I'm going to add some of the salmon, parsley, a lemon. Beautiful.
A little onion. Let's see if I can fold. Amazing.
That was a clip of celebrity chefs Christina Ferrari and Kat Cora on Christina's new TV show, Big Bowl of Love, on OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network. We asked Christina to share her top 3 power food combinations.
I have some great tips to boost flavor and nutrition in all your meals, and I call them body functioning foods. This little appetizer is actually a very powerful food combination. Tomatoes have lycopene, and olive oil has plenty of vitamin E. And it's so good. Linguine with clams is one of my very favorite dishes. I bet you didn't know that clams have more iron than steak and even liver. But the secret ingredient is parsley. Parsley is a medicinal herb. It has calcium, magnesium, and potassium. Now, if you're looking for something more hearty, I have the ultimate comfort food. And it's one that can boost your immune function. Beef stew. Carrots are a vital antioxidant. It has A, C, and K, and A mixes very well with the protein. And as a bonus, beef has zinc, which can help fend off colds. Cooking may take up a little time, but when you serve it, you always know that you're serving up a big bowl of love.
Please welcome Christina Ferrari. Christina, good to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I don't want to eat anything ever again in my life.
You gotta
Oh my
bring
gosh.
us back. I've lost my appetite. Can you bring it
That's
back?
why, you know what, let's shift course.
Yes.
You know, the first half of the show was buyer beware. Now it's going to be buyer be excited because we can really improve our health.
Especially when you're cooking.
That's right. Well, I believe in natural cooking, and the thing about my book is that I wanted everybody to understand how easy it is to actually put a great healthy meal on the table. And it's so much easier to just wash a salad, grill a piece of great chicken or vegetables than it is to go into the freezer, get pesticides and chemicals inside of your frozen foods, put it in the microwave, which is bad for you anyway, and then there's plastic on it, and then what happens when you heat up plastic? I don't even want to get into that, right?
No, exactly.
So your point is you can be healthier, you can save money, and in the end maybe even save time if you figure out how to build healthy meals at home in a simple way.
It's important to be able to sit down with your children at the family table, which, by the way, is a no-phone zone and a no-fight zone. So it's just to sit at the table, get rid of the stress of the day, and enjoy a great, healthy meal.
Christine, these are great tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
And everyone in the audience is going home with a copy of her new cookbook. It's called The Big Bowl of Love. With all this talk about food, there's one thing we've yet to cover, and that is calories. And we've got our top tips for helping you transform your favorite fattening foods. Today we're talking about what's really in your food, and now it's time to talk about all the hidden calories that can certainly sabotage your waistline. Here to help us is Ginny Sukov, editor of the popular website Everyday Health, as well as author of Everyday Health, My Calorie Counter. Welcome, Ginny.
Thank you.
And I have to say, this is probably one of the most important parts of a healthy diet is understanding this idea of how many calories are in the foods that you're eating, because oftentimes we go throughout our day and we don't realize that if you are overweight or you want to lose a few pounds, it's simply you have to have that calorie deficit. Calories in has to be less than the calories you burn.
It is all about the calories, but you know, no matter how old you are or even how much you weigh, 3,500 calories is a pound. At 500 calories every day, you'll lose about a pound a week.
And the key is you don't need to deprive yourself. Ginny, you're going to show us some subtle changes you can make.
So we're going to start out with a very all-American breakfast here. We've got some very high-fiber cereal, a glass of OJ, some coffee with actually some half and half. So this breakfast is about 496 calories. Not bad, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not bad. But I'm going to show you the better way to have this breakfast and to save about 150 calories. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to swap the cereal for this egg white sandwich on a whole wheat muffin. And you're going to save about 150 calories right there. Okay. Now, cereal is not unhealthy. You know, and this cereal is actually very healthy for you. But the problem with cereal is it's high in calories sometimes, and it's also hard to control your portions. The other really smart swap here is orange juice. Now, I call that drinking your calories. 100 calories or so in a glass of orange juice like that. It has vitamins, but you're better off eating a regular orange because it has fiber, it'll keep you feel full, and it's less calories.
Just because I always want to be fair, cereal in the morning with milk is A-okay.
It is A-okay.
Just pay attention to portion sizes, calorie control. But when you get to lunch, I have to say, salad, isn't that the way to go?
Salad, it's the sneaky salad, the killer calorie salad. You know, this salad has some lovely sliced lean beef on it, but it also has croutons and a bunch of salad dressing, and that's where we often trip up. You know, we overdo it on the salad dressing. So this meal is about 695 calories. Did you know that most of us pour like 4 tablespoons of salad dressing on our salads? That's almost 300 calories in salad dressing alone. So this healthy turkey sandwich and baby carrots is less calories. Much better option.
So you've cut out some calories there, and dinner comes along, and you know,
dinner,
broccoli, some chicken.
I know, what could be wrong with that? I mean, the fries, you know, those are probably, we know they're not that healthy. But the chicken, what we did is we just removed the skin, which has a ton of calories in it, and we just did a little switcheroo on the cheese sauce. So this is broccoli with, you know, regular cheddar cheese sauce. This is broccoli with some Parmesan grated over the top. Huge calorie savings. And then look at that potato. How good does that look? full-fat sour cream on that baked potato. This whole dinner went from 643 to 434 calories.
It's great.
So when you look at all you get to eat in a day, you know, and you can save 500 calories and not feel deprived, you know, these are the kind of strategies that we show people at Everyday Health to help them lose weight and get healthier. And, you know, we've got great online tools. We've got lots of information and support in our community. We even have great mobile apps. And now we've got a great new book called Everyday Health, My Calorie Counter. Put it all together, it's like a weight loss plan.
And Ginny, you have something special for the audience?
I do.
Understand.
Everybody's going home with a copy of the brand new Everyday Health, My Calorie Counter.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Jenny, for being here today and for the gift. And if you want more information, go to thedoctorstv.com or visit everydayhealth.com. Coming up, the health condition that affects nearly 1 in 4 Americans. Are you or someone you love at risk? The warning signs you need to know are straight ahead. Our number one goal every day is to give you the tools to make smarter health choices. And one of the biggest ways to help create awareness is through public service announcements. We were blown away when some television and film students from Franklin Pierce University in New Hampshire sent us some very powerful PSAs that they had created. They tackled hard-hitting topics like bullying, the importance of learning CPR, and also suicide prevention. They were so impressive, but there was one in particular we just had to show you, so have a look.
What do you mean the company's This job is my life. I've given it everything. I have nothing else.
Please show that you care. It can change your life.
Every 15 minutes, someone in the U.S. commits suicide, yet we rarely talk about this sensitive subject. College students Alex, Erica, Logan, and Zach wanted to change that. Thank you for joining us, and if I may... was incredibly powerful, so very impressive. Now, you all four are in college at Franklin Pierce.
Yep.
And a lot of people would say, Alex, why suicide and why this message of I care?
We just wanted to tell everyone out there that no matter what you do, it can make a difference. You have to do it. And whether it's the littlest thing, it can make the biggest difference. And I hope we get it across.
And such a powerful message. I think you got that across. And you know why it's so excellent? Because really as many as 1 in 4 Americans actually suffer from depression. And here are some of the signs of depression: loss of interest and passion, feelings of helplessness or hopelessness, like nothing will ever get better, fatigue, irritability, your tolerance level is low, everything and everyone starts to get on your nerves, unexplained aches and pains, loss of appetite or weight changes, or changes in your sleep patterns. If they become very severe, very prolonged, it can lead to suicide.
Well, I mean, I feel like everybody has that one point where they just want to give up. And like everybody, at least once in their life. So showing that you care can really make the difference.
You know, and it goes beyond just suicide, just the message of I care. I really take a lot of pride in what you guys did, because as an ER doctor, a lot of times the emergency department is that last bastion. That's where people will sometimes come at 4 a.m. on a Saturday where they have nowhere else to go. And they're coming in because they have given up hope and they don't believe that anyone cares. But someone always cares, and that's your message. And it's so important. If you're watching at home, suicide, it's one of those things that can be prevented. If you're around someone, the warning signs, obviously depression. If they're starting to talk about death or suicide and they have a plan, that is very serious. And they have this lack of self-worth, abrupt mood swings. And this is what's also interesting. If their mood swing suddenly gets a lot better, then sometimes that allows someone to have the energy, if they've been through a severe depression and they're talking about suicide, to actually commit suicide. That's when you need to get help. So if you or someone you know, if you need help or you need someone to get help, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK. And I think your message is heard loud and clear. Thank you for that wonderful PSA. We'll be right back.
Childhood obesity is a serious medical condition that affects children and adolescents. On today's Prescription for Health by our friends at CVS Pharmacy, pharmacist Yushima Thomas and I are going to explain why certain foods could be linked to this epidemic.
Studies have shown that every day, nearly 1/3 of U.S. children and adolescents ages 4 to 19 eat fast food. This group of children consumes an extra 187 calories a day, which can contribute to obesity.
Another factor is that children aren't eating enough of the right foods. Over time, an unhealthy diet that consists of processed foods, trans fats, and sugar could lead to diabetes and high blood pressure.
A healthy diet for children and adults should include whole grains, fruits and vegetables, low-fat dairy products, lean meats, and very limited amounts of sugar and bad fats.
And remember to consult your child's pediatrician or healthcare provider with any questions or concerns about their health.
Thank all of our guests today, and a special thanks to KCAL and CBS2 health reporter Lisa Siegel for that powerful food investigation. If you did miss any of today's tips or topics, you can find a complete list on our website, thedoctorstv.com. And when it comes to what's really in your food, the answer certainly can be frightening. Carcinogens, hormone disruptors, chemicals that we don't exactly know what they do, toxic dyes. But we can't and should not live in fear. I don't go home every night worrying about what's in my food because I try to eat mostly fresh foods. I try to avoid a lot of those harmful ingredients we talked about. You shouldn't worry either. Instead, modify the things you're going out and buying. Modify your family's eating habits. There are a ton of chemical-laden, toxic junk foods out there in our stores. But here's the good news. We've never, ever had so many choices, so many healthy options out there. So go out there, choose wisely. And if we start choosing more wisely, what's crazy is the companies are going to start to make healthier and healthier foods for us because they will be driven by the almighty dollar. So we can force change. So make better choices. Those are my doctor's orders. Thanks so much for joining us.